Hello and welcome to the Habit Architect. My name is Michael Cups. I'm really excited to introduce you to Coach Junior today because he is actually part of the crew that I work out with, and they beat me up daily or however often I make it in there. But we are going to talk about fitness today. Fitness is not just a choice you make on a daily basis. It really needs to be built into your lifestyle. And we're going to talk a little bit about that with Junior. We're probably going to try to have some fun with this too, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story. But most importantly, what we think about fitness is really tied in with Time Bandit. So go out to timebandit.io, check it out, take the courseware, learn how to tie your habits to your values. And why I say it's really tied into fitness is because that more than anything is a lifestyle change. And the way to reinforce that is with good habit taking, tracking, and good, just thoughtful approach to your fitness and overall lifestyle. So with all that said, again, timebandit.io, I would like to welcome in Junior to the conversation. Hello, Junior.
Hello. Hi.
So I just have one question for you to start off is, why when I come into your class are you trying to kill me?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say kill, more like give you a good workout, have you sweating,
Yeah.
because you want to come in and leave feeling like I did something, so yeah, that's why.
I rarely leave your gym and not feel like I did something, if not too much sometimes. And today,
Right.
as a matter of fact, I'm sore today from last night's workout. So I guess that means I
Yes.
did something, right?
Good. I'll make sure to congratulate Damien. Yes.
That's right.
Good.
That's right. So, what I wanted to talk with you today about, and we can kind of carry it along the conversation, is just what I do is help people with habits, and those habits can range from their personal, their business, or aspirational. But fitness
Right.
is one of those things, and we can even say weight loss and just general fitness is a big topic of conversation anywhere you look. Right. So you see all the different. There's probably a million weight loss medications out there, and lose 100 pounds in a month or whatever it may be. I know that's
Mhm.
extreme, but my point is there's so many programs out there, but it seems like they rarely stick.
That is true. Of course, too, with all the different programs, it all comes down to you. It all comes down to your determination. It all comes down to your consistency, because you can get motivated to do anything. I could get motivated to move a pencil off of a ground if I see it, right? But if I'm not being consistent with that drive, and I don't have create any sense of urgency or actual reason, then that's what's going to come. It falls down. There's different kinds of fitness. There's weight loss. There's strength. There's all those, which is a beautiful thing, right? You have different things to choose from. At the end of the day, for me, what I've realized that it all comes down to you. Like, what can you get from it? What personal things can you gravitate to what you're trying to go at? Whether
Yeah.
it be fitness, weight loss, or just powerlifting. Just what
Yeah.
exactly is drawing you in, So
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. I've been working out at your gym now. I think I started in somewhere around June, July. I think it was after a vacation and started. A few months now. And I can tell you after the first month, I did feel stronger. And
okay.
there's something about that I think, and I think people get that, is when you see results, you feel like you want to go do it some more, right? You get into
Correct.
that kind of routine,
Correct.
but you don't see results immediately with any kind of weight training type stuff. So, I mean, when you were talking about it's up to you, what would your suggestion be to somebody to say, okay, that first workout was hard, and maybe you're sore the next day, and then the second workout was hard, but you don't feel stronger, you don't look better. What's your advice to that?
For me, from a coach's perspective, the one of the biggest advices I'll give anybody who is, whether it's the first day, just making sure, letting them know, like, you have to keep going. You have to keep coming. As much as the first day feels like, if it's your first day working out and you're like, wow, I'm really sore. Then the next day you're like, it's not the same as the first day, But
Yeah.
regardless how many times you come, regardless how many days you have to go sore, or days you can't even get your arms up, it's just a matter of, sometimes you just have to have someone that can keep you in terms of accountable. If
Yeah.
that makes sense, you have to have that
Yeah.
accountability. So that's something I try to take and give to those who are, trying to do their best to make the most in terms of fitness, because it can be a little bit everywhere, especially if you don't have the right answers.
Yeah.
But trying to find someone you can that can help you
Yeah.
along the way, or give you some type of guidance or reinsurance, and okay, hey, this is what's going
Yeah.
on here, so forth. So those are the things that I kind of like try to make sure that's available anyway. Just make sure you have a resources, make sure you have someone that you can actually reach out to, who is an expert, who understands what's going on, because sometimes we try to do it ourselves, and it doesn't really work out, versus just going to the source
Yeah.
that knows what's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, and their accountability partners are a big thing. I think that's some of the reason habit tracking works, but also just the accountability. You're right. If I come into your gym and you're guiding the exercises or the lesson, whatever you want to call it, it's interesting because you do work harder than if I do it in my, I've got a treadmill and a bike here and some weights. If I do it at home, I may not push as hard because there's no one else there, right? Maybe, I guess. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So before we go further, I mean, let's talk about you. So I didn't even let you introduce yourself. Why don't we start there and then
Okay, good. Oh, well, I'm Coach Junior. I'm personal trainer, been an athlete. So all that fitness has been something it's just been a part of my life throughout. For the first day I put on shoes, the first day I was able to run. So fitness has been something that's been a part of my life, and that's pretty much it. But right now I'm doing personal training for Alloy. As you see my shirt here, we do
yeah,
personal training. That's where I'm usually giving my skills or trying to help someone else get better. That's where I'm using my skills for. That's a little bit about who I am and what I have going for right now.
yeah. And so did you choose personal training as a career because you enjoy it yourself, or was it something else that got you into that?
I Yeah, so something else. Funny fact is, I actually wanted to be a personal trainer back in school and college. I had to reach out to my coach. I said, "Hey, coach, is this a good thing to do?" And mind you, I had asked him. He was like, "Yeah, I don't think this is a good thing for you to just let it go." No, at that time, I guess you can say I wasn't really thinking for myself. I was asking someone else's opinion for my life. So that kind of like, okay, you know what? He's right. Maybe I shouldn't do it because he said it. Or I never thought about it. Like, I don't think you're right. I should try it out.
Yeah,
And then along the way, I just kept gravitating more and more towards it, just having more personal dreams, having more personal meanings, helping people out along the way, and people coming up to me like, "Hey, do you work out? Hey." So that kind of like, oh, I found who I'm supposed to be, or who I can be. Um, I think what really got me there was the love for sports, you
mm,
know. And now when I was in school, I couldn't compete anymore due to like eligibility wise. So I needed some outlook. I needed to find who I was. So
yeah,
fitness, I'm like, okay, fitness, but what kind of fitness? Personal training. I don't know if I can do personal training. It looks easy, but then, someone else doesn't want to listen. And I'm just like, please do this set until I tried it out with family, and then just, okay, maybe this is it.
yeah,
Maybe this is my arts. I can do this coaching, right? So for
yeah,
me, it's not. I don't look at it as far as training. I look at it more as a coaching. I'm coaching you through the workouts versus me training you. So that's where the difference between how I view myself and how others see me. Like some might say I'm a trainer. I rather the term coach. Coach just more sounds more like I'm helping you through it. I'm
yeah,
guiding you through it. I'm getting you through versus like, yeah, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing them.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
has a more.
I like that. I like that differentiation because coaching does have uh, uh, it also has a way to say it's on you,
Yeah,
the person doing the acting, that you're giving them the advice, and it's really up to
yeah,
them to do it. Trainers like you're training an animal to walk in that
yeah,
line and something like that. But I
yeah.
agree with that's a great. I like that delineation there. So you do you? I don't know how to ask this kind of politely. If somebody comes in that's overweight and you know that you look at them and you say that person has not worked out in a while, and or somebody comes in that looks relatively fit, do you have a preference or do you find a challenge or what do you think?
That's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Like, for example, someone who is overweight, right, versus someone who is fit. The person who's overweight, you have to look for ways to get them slimmer. The person who is fit, who is strong, you have to look for ways to get them stronger, right? There's a challenge in both. A lot of the times we think like, hey, it's probably a lot easier to work out with the person who is fit. Not necessarily, because then you have to come up with ways to keep getting them more muscles, right? It's a lot harder to get muscles than it is, of course, to to lose weight, right? You can lose weight pretty much anything you do. You can lose that weight. But in terms of muscle, it's a little bit more challenging because there's different things that come into it. Your diet, your sleep patterns, there's more things. Then of course your workout regimen. Right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to tell someone who is strong, hey, you're doing 4 rounds of four. And they're looking at me like, are you serious? Do you not see me? I am, you know?
Right.
Versus someone you know for a fact they just they won't be able to do 4 rounds of four because they need a different kind of approach to what they're trying to gain. 4 rounds of four is not going to get them to losing weight, right? They need more in terms of high intensity where they're constantly demanding more and more sweating, right?
Yeah.
They're breathing more. They're each breath they're releasing that weight. So it just there is no preference. I just look at it more in terms of what I look for is someone who is very open.
Hmm.
You're open to the idea of someone else coaching you. You're
Yeah.
open to someone else like, hey, I know for a fact they know the answers. I'm going to listen. I'm going to trust what they're saying. That's where for me it's more about like, are you willing to kind of like also too, a lot of the clients that I do train, a lot of them coach are very, some ages different. So some can be a little older than me, some can be a little bit younger than me. So it's more so about like knowing like, hey, I know you're older than me, I know you're younger than me, but do you have that mindset to be more open to what I have to say, versus
Yeah.
like, hey, I might not have much experience, but hey, I might have more experience, but we're different age. Can you still have an open mind and just be patient? So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. You know.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about. I've got more questions around that, but let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about your program. In itself is interesting because I've done various programs before, and you read things about certain types of workouts. But what's interesting to me about Alloy in particular, and the program that you walk in, you don't know what you're doing today. It's not like leg day or arm day, right?
Yeah.
You walk in, and
Yeah.
the visual is you've got a TV up there with the certain exercises you're going to do today, and the range is wide, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
could be something that involves your arms or your legs or everything in your body. I mean, what's the advantage of that kind of, number one, not knowing what you're going to do when you get there, and number two, just the range of exercises?
Well, I feel take it at like you're a 4-year-old kid, right? It's your birthday. You're eager to know what gifts mom and pop is getting. So it's kind of like that excitement. Exercise itself is not something like, oh my God, I dream about exercising, right?
Yeah,
If you do, then you okay, congrats to you. But odds of someone like, oh my God, I can't wait. Oh my goodness, I have my workout gear. I can't wait to. It's not really like nobody really
yeah,
thinks about it like that. So having that sense of like, oh my God, what are we doing tomorrow? It kind of it makes it more exciting. It gives you more demanding in terms of like, I want to exercise because I don't know what we're doing. And so far it's been really good. I want to, so it
yeah,
just gives you some days it might be hard, some days it might be okay, no, not bad, but you don't know. So that's where the fun is, right?
yeah,
And then of course, now in terms of how they have it set up, it's more so the advantage is more like full body exercises versus someone who just goes in the gym, just upper body. You're not really fully using the full muscles. You're not really fully getting that full body experience. So it's just a full body experience. Like some days, for example, I know today we had some core, we had some leg, we had some arms. So it's just making sure you're giving that whole 360 without having to bend rules, like for example crunches, doing over exercises that you shouldn't be doing. So it's just keeping everything simple, challenging, and full body.
yeah,
All right, that way arms is sore, the legs is sore, the core is sore, all together, versus arm is sore, then okay, my legs is fine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it is. I do enjoy that. Hadn't thought about it as that it's my present when I walk in there. I get to see what I'm going to do today, but I
Yes,
guess I do. I don't have to dread it, and I also don't. Like you said, you can walk in there and say, okay, let's see what the challenge is today. That's a good one.
exactly.
Yeah, an interesting question maybe that you can answer. So you're very fit. Yeah. I mean, when you see you know that you're physically fit.
Yes.
Do you find that you're, I don't know, coachee, what would that be? Student, player, whatever it may be. Do you find that that either intimidates them or they really want their trainer to have really good fit?
I would say, um, ideally, you would want them to be fit, but the intimidation part, I think it's all comes down to us. It all comes down to whoever's walking in. You know, technically speaking, you would want if you would want where you're going to represent where you're
Yeah,
actually going. If I'm going to like eat fancy, I want to make sure that I have a nice fit on, a nice suit on, and go eat. Not to
yeah,
say that that person has to be fit, but they just have to be able to operate the exact movements that you need to be performed.
yeah,
Like you can't have someone who can't do squats, right? You
yeah,
can't have someone who's struggling to get up off the ground,
yeah,
etc. They don't have to be literally fit like 2% body fat, but they just have to be able to be mobile, agile, and just all that flexibility. All those components are what makes, for me, will make it like the perfect fit. So I wouldn't want anybody to be intimidating.
yeah,
As long as, like I said, you let them know, like, hey, I'm not intimidating. And I think that's what I had at first when I first started. I was like, I hope I don't come off as intimidating, because of the physique, but more so like, hey, I'm here to coach you, teach
yeah,
you what I know, and make sure that you do it right without any
yeah.
injuries, and keep you going strong. And that's it. You know.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, my first impression of you were I knew you were fit, but what I enjoyed as we were working out together is that you are really paying attention to details,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So where the
yeah,
feet are, what the motion looks like. I mean,
yeah.
you technically coach as well. So and I'm guessing that's how you learned as well, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
how I learned. And I think what comes from it too is when I was trying to see if the personal training was something that I wanted to pursue, I would go to the gyms, I'll look at other trainers, see how they were coaching, and see how what they were doing. And I would pick up on certain things like, hey, you should probably watch their form,
yeah,
but it's not my place. But it's just like, okay, if I do happen to be a trainer, this is some of the things I want to make sure I have that taken care of. I want to make sure, like, hey, if I see their foot is not in alignment, I'm letting them know. If I see they can go heavy in weight, I'm letting them know. If I see that you should really take a break, I'm letting you know. So it's just, yeah, that's why I pay attention to that, because for me, it's like, as much as you are coming in to learn about exercise, I want to make sure that you understand it the same way as if I was in your place. All right. I want to make sure I get the proper training. I want to make sure I get the proper coaching. I'm not
yeah,
leaving injured. I'm coming in healthy. I want to leave healthy. So that's really much
yeah.
it. Like if I was in your shoes, I would want the same thing.
That's great advice too. I like that, and it means that you care about your
Yes.
your coaching, but you also care about the person gets the best experience out of it. So
Yeah.
so let's have a little fun. So I'm just curious, who are the most motivated clients that come in your door? And Flora, who's our producer, and I were hypothesizing that it's people that are either going through a divorce or their breakup with a girlfriend or boyfriend. And what do you say to that? Are they the most motivated to get in great shape?
I wouldn't say about breakups, because I would say more so those who more so are, that's a tough one. Motivated let me see. Probably those who know they have to provide. Like it says, like a parent, or it don't have to be
Mm,
a parent, but someone who has to provide, whether it be they're owner of a business, whether it's someone who has to, pay for their living. It's just those who I've noticed are more motivated, right? Because they need that
yeah,
energy, they need
yeah,
that strength to kind of complete them, right? Lifting weights, anybody can
yeah,
lift weights, but it's understanding what you're doing. And if you're doing it the right way, you start to understand the benefits. So the ones who come in motivated are the ones who know, like, hey, if I don't do this, like there can be bad things later on in the future. Like I can have like get weak and stuff like that. So it's just more about the ones who are really trying to keep their body in alignment in terms of strength wise, making sure like they still can
Yeah.
get off the ground, making sure they can still get in the car if they have to go to work or if they have to go to their kids game or they have to assist their husband or spouse, just stuff like that.
Mhm.
Those are the kind of motivations I've seen. So it's not necessarily breakups. uh, I've seen some clients like that, but they're really rarely coming in,
Yeah.
right? But it's really
Yeah. What's interesting about what you said there is that it's probably longer lasting if it's not for a short term breakup kind of, type of thing. And me myself, I got to tell you, I was diagnosed with cancer in my 40s, and that took 5 years to get
yeah.
out of. Not when I say out of, get in remission, and my body kind of started healing itself. But I really didn't get into it because I kind of had this feeling like, wow, gosh, I'm weaker than I used to be, or something like. And it didn't click, and then I broke my collarbone
Yeah.
last year, or I guess, yeah, it was last year. And, it had that surgery. And but what I determined this year, at the help of Catherine encouraging me to, is that, I don't want to be sitting in the same place when we retire. And we're not retiring next year or anything else, but I need to get stronger, because as I age, if I'm not strong and I don't have good muscles and bones, then it's not going to be worth all the
Right.
work we did over the first, 65
Right.
years. Right. And so that to me is the motivation. And odd, it's an odd thing to say, but now for me, it's the long game. I mean, I should have started the long game when I was
Yes.
35, but I'm starting it now. Right.
That's the thing about exercising. Like you can start it whenever, but it's doing it the right way and having the right uh I guess coach or the right people around you to make sure that you're being supported in the right way, to make sure that you keep going for the long run, and that's the most
Yeah.
important part. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. How is your transition to Texas? I know you moved from Florida. How do you like
T
Texas?
Texas is different. Not really much of a snow person. I didn't to be honest with you, they're gonna laugh at this. I didn't know it snowed in Texas. I did not know that. I didn't know. I thought it was
Yeah,
hot. I thought it was hot in Texas. But of course, it's not gonna be hot all the time, but I didn't know it snowed. So when I got here, I was just like, yeah, I wanna go home. Because I'm so used to green scenery. Right now, it's beautiful. Right now, I'm just like, wow, it feels like I'm back home in Florida
yeah,
because I see green everywhere. That's what I'm used to. So when I came, the
yeah,
leaves were down, nothing was blooming. So it was kind of like, oh man, kind kind of like down, like I'm homesick. I was homesick. You could say that, right? Because I was so used to seeing like greens. Is this something about seeing greens on the leaves? I guess is because I'm from the island as well. So I'm from Haiti. So
yeah,
that's where it comes from. Being able to see the
yeah,
beaches,
yeah,
leaves, trees, just being around nature. So, so far,
yeah.
based on what I'm seeing, I don't regret the decision. So, still taking.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. It is odd that you called that out. Texas, especially where we are in
Yeah.
North Texas, we do have a winter, and now the weird part about it is you could have the snow on a Thursday, and on Sunday you're out in the park because it's 70 degrees. But uh, yeah, you're right. You will see a winter, and it does get brown. Normally, we have two brown seasons, in the middle of winter and the middle of summer. But this year, we didn't have as much heat, so it
Uh,
stayed green. You're right. So it's pretty. I don't know if it's going to
uh,
stay that way. So the was there a client that you engaged with that said, and you saw them the first time, you said they're never going to make it, and then they surprised you and they did something over and above what you believed?
yeah, there's been quite a few, honestly, but
Yeah,
not to say in terms of like a negative perspective. I think, like I said, you could be as optimistic as you want, right? Especially if you're going to start something brand new like exercising, right? But it all comes down to how long are you going to stay in this commitment? It's a committed
yeah,
relationship. Your fitness, your health is a committed relationship. But how long are you going to stay committed within that relationship? So that's what it is for me. But yes, I definitely have quite a few clients as well who definitely, I was like, are you going to feel like, okay, this is for me? Am I going to stay open minded? Because for me, when it comes to coaching, I don't want to be in a position where I don't want to make you love fitness. I want to make sure that you are the one
yeah,
loving it yourself. Because I can make you love it, but what happens when I don't make you love it? Then now what? You know,
Yeah.
if my whole purpose is me
Yeah.
making you love it, it's just like, okay, love it only because I'm there. How is that really benefiting you? Which is where I get the word,
Yeah.
not necessarily that word, but more so like, are you gonna love it long enough? So yeah, there definitely has been some clients like that. Now I'm just like looking back, like, whoa, remember when we were here? Look at us now. You know? Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
quite a few I can, name off. Yeah, there's a quite a few. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, and I'm sure there's the opposite. We don't need to talk about those. There's always people that stop doing things. But if somebody's sitting at home and they think, "Gosh, I've been meaning to get to that," what would be your advice to start off with? Where would you say would you find a gym and find that accountability partner, or do you think just get out and go for a walk if that's the first thing you can do? How do you get somebody to the point of action?
Okay. Of course, too, everything has a cause and effect. You have to find the cause, right? Of course, an effect is to get you into working out. But what is going to cause you to do that, right? So you could be little stuff that you could take, like, hey, let me go. If I have stairs and I live in an apartment, let me just climb up the stairs for 5 minutes. Hmm. See how my heart feels. If my heart likes it, this is not bad at all. And go for a walk, like you said. Go for a nice little walk.
Yeah.
Um, to walk around the park. Just little things. And then, of course, too, if you feel like, okay, maybe I need a little bit more strength training because you realize that, hey, it's not as easier for me getting up the stairs like I used to be. Then, of course, then you want to start gravitating towards weights and stuff. But for the most part, yeah, definitely go for a walk. Then, of course, the next step, finding the right guidance, finding someone, a coach, finding someone who can help you if you want to really take it more seriously, if you want to really understand what you're doing so that you don't hurt yourself, yeah, get in a gym. I'll come to Alloy, I'll be there, find a coach that can help
Yeah.
you out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, I think I know the answer to this, but is the diet more important than the movement, or is the movement more important than the diet, or it's probably, I think your answer is probably both, right?
Yes, both. Now, the movement, it's just so, yeah, they work hand in hand. You can't have one without the other, right? To an extent, though, right? Because technically speaking, but it all depends on who you are. Like everybody has different blood types or has different genes, so that also comes into play as well too. Hormones. Now, diet. What I would top it at 70%, a little bit higher than the movement. The reason why I said that because you eat the wrong thing, like so you're set back like 2 or 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Now, the movement itself,
Yeah.
you do it wrong, you could do the same thing too. So it's really, you can't really avoid it. But the diet is something that you definitely have to make sure you pay attention to because if without the diet, you can't really work out. You can't get stronger without energy, right? The diet is really energy. You need energy
Yeah.
to be able to concentrate on the movements. You need energy to be able to allow your body to take in, to rebuild. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tricky question. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Diet.
It is tough, and there's just so much noise out there about
Yeah.
eat this, not that, and things like that, and it's confusing. When I decided to get more serious about this, and I've started walking a lot more, and then go to the gym as well. But I eased into the lifestyle change instead of doing it all at once. I just kind of
Yes.
progressively added or took something away as I went along, and so I think it's working. I think it's working. I enjoy you and your staff and the team there at Alloy. I really, and if anybody's looking for a different concept, then I think Alloy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? It's small
Yeah.
group lessons. I mean, do you have anything to say
Yeah,
about that?
so it's pretty much small group sessions. We have different hours of the day, different hours. Even during weekends, you can come out. You have different exercises that you perform. You come out. Maybe you find, maybe you never know. Your best friend might be in one of our sessions. It's been several times where someone is like, "Hey, I didn't know you go to Alloy. Hey, I live right across the street from you." Or like, "Oh my gosh, that's your son? Oh my God!" Or like one of our clients, they were best friends back home, and all of a sudden they got separated. They moved to the U.S., and all of a sudden, wow, they reunited. So so it's just
Wow.
like there's meaning. Of course, when you're working out and you have someone else working out with you, you kind of build that. Oh, wow, okay, you're my brother in arm, you're my sister in arm, or whatever the case.
Yeah.
You're here with me on the battlefield. But yeah, definitely, that's what it really much is when it comes to the sessions. At LO is just one of those, like, it's fun, different exercises. We have the equipment, we have the guidance, we have the professionalism, and, like, the coaches as well. And of course, we have the facility to make sure that everything stays appropriate, clean, keeping up. We have fun
Yeah.
activities that we do. We just do that. Make sure everything's fun for everybody. And just have fun.
Yeah, it's great. Well, great staff. Good seeing you, Coach Junior. Thank you so much for joining me on the session. I think you've got some great tips for people to learn and take away from this, and they should definitely look you up and find out where
Yes.
you are. So, just for those watching, thanks for tuning in. Oh, you can catch us live every Thursday. As well as just go check out timebandit.io, and you can see the past episodes, or go to Spotify, Apple, whatever your podcast favorite is. Do follow us, like us, subscribe to us, whatever the mechanism is, so we can get more of those followers and keep bringing episodes.